If you are an attentive listener, you should have noticed in today's gospel that Jesus asked the same question that he posed to James and John in the gospel yesterday. And the question is, what do you want me to do for you? Magkasunod yung reading natin ngayon at kahapon. Today's reading in the gospel is a continuation from yesterday. What do you want me to do for you? He asked the question yesterday to James and John. Today, he is asking the question to the blind man, Bartimaeus. Meron nagtanong sa akin, bakit ba tinatanong pa ni Jesus? Obvious ba, bulag siya, he wants to see. Well, first of all, Bartimaeus called to Jesus out loud, and he addressed him as the Son of David. Son of David, have pity on me. And that is why the disciples tried to silence him. Pinatatahimik siya. Jesus avoided the title Son of David because it came with an expectation. Remember, paniwala ang mga Hudyo na ang Mesiyas ay manggagaling sa pamilya ni David. That is why Son of David became a title for the Messiah. Secondly, kahit bulag pa siya, we cannot just presuppose that his desire was to see. He was a beggar. Baka sinabi niyang, have pity on me dahil nagpapalimos siya. He could have been simply asking for alms. And so, Jesus had to ask him, what do you want me to do for you? And he answered immediately. Hindi na siya nag-isip. He said, I want to see. Meaning, he wanted to be cured of his disability so that he could return to his family and so that he could work again and hopefully not have to beg anymore. But did you notice what happened? After his request was granted, sabi ni St. Mark, Bartimaeus, the blind beggar, after being healed, started following Jesus on the way. Well, actually Jesus said to him, umuwi ka na, go your way. But what did he do? Instead of going away, instead of returning to his family, Bartimaeus followed Jesus. He became a disciple. He became a companion of Jesus on the way. May fire trucks na naman po. Ibig sabihin, may sunog na naman. Let us please pray for the fire victims. So, ibig sabihin, the real request, the real desire of Bartimaeus was not, I want to see, but I want to see you. I want to see the Messiah, the Son of David. And he knew what he wanted, and he got it. The gospel writer is, as it were, telling us that Bartimaeus knew a lot better than James and John what to ask for. You remember how Jesus had reacted to the request of the two brothers yesterday. He said, hindi nyo alam ang hinihingi ninyo. You do not know what you're asking for. Itong dalawang to, these disciples, They had already been following him on the way, but they still could not understand what the Messiahship of Jesus was all about. That it was not about political power. It could only mean that they had not really seen yet who he really was. It is also possible that Mark had deliberately put these two stories next to each other. First, the request of the disciples, and then the request of Bartimaeus. And he did this mainly to point out that it was much easier for Jesus to heal the physical blindness of the blind beggar than the spiritual blindness of the disciples. Ang susi sa ating mga pagbasa is the word to see. It is the word that connects the gospel to the first reading. Ngayon, kung nakinig kayong mabuti ulit, you would have noticed 3 beses inulit yung word to see sa first reading natin. Sa una, at the start, the writer speaks about seeing God's works. At the middle, he speaks about seeing the future. Seeing the future by understanding the present and the past. And towards the end, he speaks about seeing the splendor of God in the universe. You see, Saint Mark is not just telling us a healing story. Rather, he is telling us the story of the healing of the blind man, precisely to get us to appreciate, by way of irony, what is going on in the disciples themselves who are with Jesus. Sila yung bulag. He is trying to point out that they are really the ones who are blind. They could not yet see who Jesus really was. Well, brothers and sisters, today, if you hear God confronting you with a question, what do you want me to do for you? Do not say, I want to see. Rather say, Lord, I want to see you. Let it be our prayer for the rest of this evening. Open my eyes, Lord. I want to see you. Do not allow us to be blinded by the desire for wealth, power, and prestige, the things that commonly prevent us from seeing you at work in our lives. Lord, let us see your face, so that in the midst of the darkness that we are presently going through, we will not lose the way. Lord, open our eyes so that we can see you, because you are the way, the truth, and the life. Amen.